Hey guys, welcome back to Going Somewhere with Susie. You may have noticed my voice is a little bit raspier than normal. We actually have been home now for about 2.5 weeks, and Saturday was our 2 weeks home from Mexico. We're COVID free, so we didn't get anything. And then Saturday, we actually went to Kings Island and rode roller coasters there on Saturday, which lots of masks and social distancing and hand washing and stuff happened there as well. So I think we're okay. I just have lost my voice because I was not screaming inside of my heart. I was screaming in my throat. That's why my voice is a little bit raspy. I didn't do a video last week because I got busy at work, so I apologize for that. But today I'm going to spend some time talking about the resort in Mexico that we stayed at. So we stayed at the Bahia Principe Luxury Akumal. And this resort is one of 4 resorts in the Bahia Principe resort area. They have the Grand Tulum, Coba, and Siancan. At the time that we went, the only resort that was open was Akumal. The other 3 resorts were closed. Some of them are closed through the end of November I think it's the end of November, or maybe it's just November 1st, for renovations, and some will be opening back up at that time. So we'll get started with the check-in process. So when we arrived, we exited our shuttle, and before going into the lobby, they had these little square things with some kind of sanitizer in them. They also had a hand sanitizing station right there at the entrance. They also do a temperature check on you, so they take your temperature and your wrist with a no-touch thermometer. And everything was fine for us when we arrived. So we went to the check-in desk, and our room was ready. It was, at the time that we went, they were only allowing 30% occupancy at hotels in Mexico. So our room was ready. We were able to get right in. So they checked us in, and we went right to our room. They drove us there in a little golf cart. The Bahia Principe Resort is huge, so they do have these little trolley golf cart things that kind of drive you around to the different areas of the resort. So we got to our room, and is a very nice little junior suite with an ocean view. And this was the view from our room. Very beautiful. We had a king-size bed, and then they had a single sleeper sofa for Ty. All-inclusive resort, so all of the food and drinks and everything were included. The food areas, when we got there was only one place where you could have breakfast and lunch, and that was actually the pool snack bar. And it was kind of set up buffet style where they had all of the food behind these plexiglass windows. There were people behind the plexiglass who were serving you. So you couldn't serve yourself even though it was a buffet. And so that was where you could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When we got there, we were there for 8 nights. There were other restaurants that were open as well. So they have specialty restaurants there. They don't charge any extra for those, but you do have to make reservations in advance. And we had made reservations for a few of them before we got there. But we did not have reservations all of the nights that we were there. And the food in the buffet area, it was fine. It wasn't super exciting. It was just kind of, what you would expect, I think, at the snack bar area. Honestly, we were a little bit disappointed with the dinner selection. They had a lot of fish in the evening, which JD's allergic, so he wasn't able to eat a whole lot in the evenings. But at the specialty restaurants, when we made our reservations, those were excellent. And you got to order from a menu, and they had everything that you would expect: appetizers, entrees, salads, and soup courses, and then dessert as well. So those were excellent. We had reservations, I think, probably 4 out of our 8 nights. So those were very good. We arrived on July 3rd, and on July 4th, they had some decorations up for the 4th of July for the United States Independence Day. And so they had this 4th of July thing out by the pool, and they also had a color party. So they gave us this like paint stuff, and we like threw it at each other, threw it in the air, and it was red, white, and blue. So that was kind of how they celebrated. They also had some really good entertainment at the resort. So they did this dance to Devil Went Down to Georgia, which was fun. And really the entertainment throughout our stay was great. They had a great magician. We went the first night who did some really classic tricks and was a really good showman. And then they had some traditional Mexican entertainment. Their activities directors were great. We did go on a bike ride around the resort, which it was like 90 degrees that day with 98% humidity. And we didn't think to ask the question of how long is this bike ride before we went on it, thinking that it would only be about an hour or so. So about 2 hours in, we were like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And we actually ended up stopping at the golf clubhouse and getting drinks, the whole group did, because it was so hot and we were so far away from the resort. So I think that was normal. I think normally it's only about an hour long, but I think because it was so hot, we decided to stop for drinks, so it took a little longer than normal. Entertainment staff, though, they were great. The activity staff, they always had something out by the pool in the afternoon, some kind of a snack thing. So they had a ceviche tasting one day. They had a tostada tasting one day and a guacamole thing out by the pool every day. The bars, when we were there, the only bar that was open was the pool bar, the main pool bar, White Sands. The guys there, though, the bartenders were fantastic. One of my bartender friends made me a drink called the Purple Rain, which I don't know exactly what went into it, but it was delicious, and it tasted like it had 0 alcohol in it. So I really enjoyed that. At the pool, the chairs were spaced pretty far out, and they had signs on them when they'd cleaned them and everything, so you could tell if they were clean. Usually there were plenty of spots. Even the cabanas were open until about 11 in the morning, and that's when things kind of started to fill up a little more. And that's usually right around when we got there. So usually when we got there, we were able to find a place. But then when we left a few hours later, it was usually pretty full. So the chairs were spaced pretty far apart, but we always found a place with shade. And it was really nice. We went out snorkeling in the beach one day. It's pretty small. There's not a whole big area where you can go swimming in the ocean. But they do have a lot of fish out there, so you can go take a look at the schools of fish that are in that little lagoon area. And they had turtle nests all over the beach, which I think most people probably wouldn't recognize that they were turtle nests, but we actually have done turtle excursions in the past where we went to a beach and helped to dig up a hatched nest one time. And so we knew as soon as we saw them that they were turtle nests on the beach there. So that was really cool. We didn't sit on the beach. We spent most of our time in the pool. They had servers going around, so they had servers at the pool and also at the beach that would get you drinks. We usually just went to the bar, though, and we brought our own like cups, kind of like this, that were insulated, so that, and they'll fill them with whatever you want. So my Purple Rain drink went in something kind of like this, and you can get whatever you want in there. So if you want a giant rum and coke, you can get it. It's no problem. You just bring your cup up to the bar, give it to the server, and they'll get you whatever you want in it. So it was a really nice resort. We really enjoyed it. But I think probably my favorite part was the very last night that we were there. We actually went to the snack bar because we didn't have a dinner reservation that night. So we went to the snack bar to get dinner, and it was closed. And we were like, what is happening? So they told us that the main buffet was actually open. So we went to the main buffet the last night that we were there. They had opened it up for the guests coming in, and it was great. The food there was amazing. It was just on another level than the snack bar. They had a salad bar, and they had kind of any kind of cuisine that you would want. They had Italian, they had Mexican, they had anything that you could think of, really. It was all individually portioned out, and the things that weren't individually portioned out, they would serve to you. So felt pretty safe there. Not many people wore masks around the resorts, but there were those sanitizing squares outside of most of the common areas, and hand sanitizer all over the place, so you could get that pretty much anywhere. We saw some people wearing masks, but we didn't wear masks when we were there, and most people didn't. I imagine you probably don't want to get tan lines from the masks. So yeah, we got sunburned pretty bad. The sun down there is very intense. So even though we reapplied sunscreen several times, we did get pretty burnt a couple of the days there. And we ordered room service one night, kind of your standard room service. It wasn't gourmet, but it wasn't terrible. So they have a lot of wildlife there that we weren't used to seeing. There's iguanas all over the place. One day we were sitting at the pool, and an iguana just kind of came up and like sat in the shade behind our chairs, which was kind of cool. They also have coatis. So we called them Mexican trash pandas. They're a Latin American animal that's kind of like a raccoon. So we saw a bunch of those. And they also have agoutis, which are kind of like little rabbits with no ears. So it was kind of cool to see the wildlife that was around. Lots of seabirds and all of that. So the area where we were is about 10 minutes north of Tulum, and it was pretty far from Cancun. It's about an hour and 20-minute drive by shuttle to that area, and so it's pretty far, but that area in Akumal is actually kind of a sea turtle area, so there are sea turtles in the area. We did do a turtle excursion, which unfortunately we didn't see any, but we got to see the nests, so that was pretty cool. The mini bar was included in the room, so we could take whatever we wanted out of it. I think that probably they were, I don't know, maybe understaffed because the mini bar didn't get filled up. I think normally they have the people to who clean your room, and then they also have what they call butler service, which kind of sounded like concierge service to me. Basically, they make your reservations at the specialty restaurants, and you can ask them for any special requests, and I think they're the ones who take care of your minibar, because our minibar was not refilled the whole time we were there, which there's water in the minibar and also some little snacks and, of course, beers and alcohol. So we were more concerned about the water because after about 2 days we had drank it all and we needed more. So we had to end up calling the front desk to get more stuff for our minibar. They have an adults only area, which we went to on our bike tour, but we didn't actually go and like hang out there because Ty was with us, and we didn't know that there was the restaurant in the adults area that was open the whole time we were there. We could have gone to that, but they did have a place where you could order breakfast and lunch. It was not just buffet style like the snack bar. So we kind of missed out on that. We did get to it on, I think the last day we were there. We went to that place for breakfast. But yeah, so we didn't hang out in the adults only area because Ty was with us. They do have an adults only beach and an adults only pool, as well as the actual rooms in that area are adults only. They did have a shop on site as well. We didn't go to it, but it was open, and so we could have gone to it if we needed sunscreen or pool toys, whatever you need is in that little shop. So that was open and available. There is this place on the Bahia Principe property called La Hacienda de Doña Isabel. And it's like a shopping center kind of area. I think that the shops there were more reasonably priced than the one that was the actual resort itself. There were only probably about 4 shops open when we were there, the pharmacy and then like 3 souvenir stores. We went to the pharmacy a bunch. Ty actually got an ear infection while we were there. We were really afraid that he had a fever and was not going to be able to get on the plane home. So we ended up spending a bunch of money on eardrops and Tylenol and stuff to make sure that he was able to board the plane. Luckily, Ty's ear infection went away, but even if it hadn't, there were no temperature checks on the way home, so he would have gone to the airport and been just fine. And then we also bought something at every store there on different days because we figured we needed things, and then we kind of felt like we were helping to support the local economy too. They did have some pretty bad red seaweed when we were there. I guess the Mexican government sends out boats with nets to catch the seaweed in the summertime, but because of COVID, they hadn't sent those boats out. So in the area, the red seaweed is on the beaches and it's pretty bad. But at Akumal, the staff there, they were cleaning the beaches every day, and so you didn't really have to experience it there. You could smell it, like it has a very bad fishy smell to it, so you can kind of smell it some places. I think that they were kind of storing it in less populated areas, so you could kind of tell that it was there, but it wasn't nearly like the public beaches. We went on our snorkeling tour, we went to one of the public beaches, and the red seaweed was just everywhere. It was so bad. You couldn't even, like, you had to go probably a good 6 to 8 feet out into the water to even get clear of it, and it was piled up on the beach, and they were trying to clear the beaches, but they just had this just giant mountain of red seaweed, and it stunk so bad. So we didn't have that at the resort, thank goodness. And the water in the little lagoon was clear and not a lot of seaweed there, so that was very good. So that was our stay at Bahia Principe Luxury Akumal. We had a great time with most of the things closed, so I would imagine that if we go back when things are open, we would just love it even more. So highly recommend it. If you get a chance to go there, definitely do. It's one of the bigger resorts and lots of amenities when all of the other resorts are open. But of course, with other resorts come other people as well, so it gets a little bit more crowded, I think, when more things are open. But we liked it. We had a great time there and would definitely go back. Next week, I will put together something on our whale shark tour, and then I might actually combine the whale shark tour and the sea turtle tour as well, because the sea turtle tour probably don't have as much to say, so maybe I'll just throw it in there together. So that's all I have for you for today. Hope you enjoyed the information, and hopefully we'll get this virus under control and get back to traveling sometime very soon. So in the meantime, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!